It's Senior Bowl week, people. A big tentpole event ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft. Who are the top 10 players from the Senior Bowl that the New York Jets should keep their eye on? We'll talk about it. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Folks, thanks for joining us this morning. Again, another special note. This is normally a daily video show at 7:30 in the morning, but for this Monday and all the way through the next couple of months heading into the draft, we'll have a special start time of 7 o'clock. For those that watch after the fact, this affects you absolutely not at all, but I felt necessary to say it. See, we get up early for you people. That's just part of the gig. A couple of shout-outs. First off, my daughter's birthday was yesterday. She turned 4 years old, and that's great. And I had one job, and that was supposed to be to wear the custom T-shirt that my fiance made, and I screwed the pooch yesterday. So it's a day late and a dollar short, but here's the Velociraptor birthday shirt for my daughter. She turned 4, and my fiance made this. A Velociraptor with a birthday hat on it. So better late than never, I suppose, I guess. And also, we do have a special guest about to join us. But first, let's get a Boy Green Coffee Club membership right off the top rope. Mother effing chew, baby. Toot toot. At Boy Green Coffee Club membership, part of our YouTube membership community, went to Alfredo from MFC. Thank you. MFC, you're now in the top 5 of our raffle ticket contest. More on that later. But let's get to our special guest here. At Iron City Film. He's an NFL draft guru, and he joins us every Monday to either do a mock draft, but we're taking a break from mock drafts today because we want to talk about all the players in the Senior Bowl that we possibly can here on the show. So let's bring him in. Drew Beatty, baby. What's up, Drew?
What's up, Paul? Happy late birthday to your daughter. Also, I'm glad we're all the people that are up early, yes. Appreciate all you guys hopping in here. Super early morning after some really cold weather. Hope everybody, up in y'all's northern part of the woods was okay over the past weekend with all the ice and all that scary stuff. But I think we're through the worst of it. We're on to one of the best weeks in the draft season. I am heading up to Mobile early tomorrow morning, so I'm excited to get up there.
All right, beautiful. Well, that's definitely on my bucket list. One day, Drew, we'll have to do one of these shows live together because I love the Senior Bowl. I love the pre-draft process. Yes, we're getting smacked with a snowstorm out there. We have a no travel advisory, so I can't leave my house like the next 24 hours. So hopefully that snow calms down. And then, of course, I have to do one more shout out. Wearing this Jets hat, Sam Darnold, buddy. You're to the Super Bowl. This is a true story. I have a full-size Sam Darnold fat head in my hallway in his Jets uniform. Because, when I was a Jets fan and I got it, I was like, woohoo, this guy's going to take us to the Super Bowl. And then he gets traded. I'm like, well, now what do I do with this full-size 6'3" Sam Darnold? I'm not going to just get rid of it. That would be crazy. And so he just moved from the main man cave of my house to the hallway. So he's right in front of my bathroom. So Sam, it's been great seeing you, but now you're going to be in the Super Bowl. So salute, buddy. I'm sure we'll put up some Sam Darnold jerseys over the next couple of weeks, giving him some love and whatnot. And then congrats to you, Drew Beatty, Robert Saleh. You got your man.
There we go.
Former Jets coach. So yeah, a lot of Jet activity out there in the universe, pal. There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're still waiting on that OC hire. That'll really be the kind of the all important thing, but excited about that hire, and really excited to finally get past the coach talk and into the draft talk.
Yeah, amen. All right, well, let's get right to it here on the program. Again, folks, some of these names on the list we had to change because there was a ton of Senior Bowl changes here, Drew, of some massive names that was supposed to be here, from David Bailey's to Reuben Baines. And it titillated a lot of people when those were announced, like, oh, baby, this has some real star power. Not that it doesn't have any star power, but some of it was taken away here. So now we've crafted a top 10 list for Jet specific. We have Jet fans, of course, in our audience that are intrigued. So we're going to go through. I'll bring up the player's school, position, and name. And Drew, you can tell us what you can about it. Obviously, the Jets fans, speaking of Sam Darnold and doing great things for the Seahawks, well, we're once again in the quarterback carousel, and we're looking for somebody. And I've heard this name start popping up a little bit more on Jets social media, because if the Jets don't just overdraft a quarterback, potentially depending on your perspective, shout out for Tank for Ty in our audience, who's been here for months. But outside of that possibility in the first round of Ty Simpson, if the Jets wait, there's another quarterback that I've heard created some buzz, who is a father who is a coach in the National Football League, LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. I heard the brand new director of the I got to make sure I get this right, the Panini Senior Bowl.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Sort of say that a bunch.
I'm sure I'll say Reese's like 12 times before I get used to saying that.
Yeah, the new director, Drew Fabianich, who replaced Jim Nagy, he was talking about Garrett Nussmeier on the Jets official podcast. So I'm glad that this name is on your list here, Drew. Give it to me on Garrett Nussmeier, because I remember last year a lot of people saying this guy could be the first overall pick, and now it doesn't seem like that's the conversation anymore.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys can bear with us. We had more of a star-studded list before. They've had kind of this mass exodus before. But, I mean, the senior role is always for finding these kind of day 2, day 3 gems. It's really not for the top guys to solidify themselves. So, but yeah, starting off with the quarterbacks, I'm still, very much in on – there are 3 quarterbacks in this class that I think have some real potential. And, 2 more than this guy, but he's still one that I have more faith in than the others. So yeah, last season, if anybody was I was not nearly, as prevalent as I am now, so I doubt there were many, but if anybody was following me for my draft coverage early last draft season, I was basically as high as you could be on Garrett Nussmeier. I thought his 2024 tape was absolutely first overall pick worthy. I was totally down for him being potential number 1 overall pick. And obviously he returned to school, and the tape was not nearly as good this year as it was last year. Now I will say, I think a large part of that, not everything, there was still some other places he took major steps back, but I will say a large part of that regression, I think, was he had an oblique injury that he suffered early in the year. And if you know anything about quarterback mechanics, a lot of your drive power behind your passes comes from that kind of rotational torque when you turn in your throwing motion. And when you tear your oblique, and he didn't tear it, but like when you mess up your oblique as badly as he did at the beginning of the year, and he had to play through it all year, you really can't rotate and get any zip behind your passes. So you can really see like his passes just float, through the air compared to what they were last year. They're just not nearly as on a rope as they were last year. So I don't think it's necessarily he never had the strongest arm in the world, but I don't think it was as bad as it actually looked on tape this year. It was majorly injury related. But what continues to give me so much faith in Nussmeier is just the mental tools that he has. I mean, he is starting from basically his first game as a starter last year. He has been an immediate NFL level processor. He is consistently able to work out, disguises post snap. He knows where to look pre-snap. He knows how to read defenses. He continues to be one of the best pocket managers I've ever watched. Also, I mean, that guy just has a sixth sense for where to step in the pocket. Like especially the Vanderbilt game this year, there was not a lot of great games from him this year. But if you want to find one, go watch the Vanderbilt game. I mean, that is a masterclass on operating under pressure. His receivers couldn't get open much. His offensive line was collapsing. And I mean, he's, there's circus throws all over the place. He is staying calm under pressure, managing the pocket. So I think if there's ever going to be a candidate for somebody to have a better pro career than a college career, it's going to be Garrett Nussmeier, because he's got all the tools to be, mental tools, not physical. He's not the most physically gifted quarterback in the world, but very, very smart. I think if you want to take a day 2 swing on a quarterback, Ty Simpson, Mendoza are obviously gone. Nussmeier is the quarterback I would take a shot on.
So quick question, because the Jets, for those out in our audience that know or don't know, they only have 2 selections on day 2. It's 33rd overall, the first pick of the second round, and 44th overall. That was from the Dallas Cowboys. The Jets do not have a 3rd round pick. Again, screw you, Hassan Reddick. So that's where the Jets are at this point. Would 33 or 44 and again, a lot's going to change, right? He could blow up the Senior Bowl, and we don't know the combine list. There's all kinds of things that could happen that could increase his draft stock. But based on what you know right now, would Nussmeier be worth the 33rd or 44 overall pick, or would that be a reach?
I think top 50 might still be a little too rich for my blood. I think he's probably more of like maybe, if he continues to slip into the third round, maybe like a trade up candidate in that range. But I don't think I could quite justify a top 50 pick after this year. I just have too many questions, but it's really, really hard to quit him after how good 24 was. I just think it's there. He just wasn't able to tap into it this year.
Yeah, okay. So 2 follow-up questions here. First off, is this the warning shot to the Dante Moores of the world that you go back to school? It's not guaranteed, right? There's all this hype up to your point. Again, I was here for people. Garrett Nussmeier could be the number 1 overall pick. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And he chose to go back to school. And now you say that a top 50 pick may be a little rich. So, like, obviously the conversation changed a little. Is this a warning shot to the Dante Moores of the world? Because he chose to go back, and who knows what his stock could be. Now, some people, it works out. Peyton Manning went back, and then he came back. He was the number 1 overall pick, so it worked out for him. But it clearly doesn't work out for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think usually, more often than not, if going back hurts your draft stock, you were probably never a great player in the first place. But it's kind of undeniable how badly it hurt a couple guys this year. Like Drew Aller is the other perfect example, where he was a guy that was virtually a first round lock in last year's draft class, and now he's going to be probably a mid day 3 guy at best. Nussmeier, again, I think it was more injury related than with anything, so I can't really fault him for that as much. I think he would have generally helped his draft stock, because like the Clemson game, he looked like last year's Nussmeier, and that was really the only game he got to play before that oblique started coming into play. But yeah, with Nuss, I think it was injury related. But I just think, like, with Dante Moore, I really don't understand it, because if you're in a weaker class and you have a guarantees from scouts that you're going in the top 10, top 5, I don't really understand the risk of going back. So especially with the quarterback class, like if you're self-aware enough to know the rest of the quarterback class is weak, I don't know why guys go back like they did in these weaker quarterback classes of last year and this year. But maybe we see you're seeing it everywhere with NIL. It's not just quarterbacks. Players. 2026 is nobody wants to hear me come up here and say it's a weak draft class when the Jets are relying on it as much as they are, and my team back there. But I mean, you've just seen so many guys that were going to be incredible players in this draft class that have all gone back for 2027, or to be in the 2027 draft class.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, NIL is massively affecting the draft.
All right, one more on Nussmeier, then we can move on here. And it's a Nussmeier question, but it projects out. So what do you do with a guy like Nussmeier? You said you love so throw away what just happened this season. Pretend you've Men in Black. Whoop, up! I wiped your mind. You don't even know what happened. Okay, the previous experience of Nussmeier, you're like, oh my God, I'm in love. I see it all. You see it. And then you get a season that doesn't make you feel that way. How do you balance that as a draft evaluator? How do you balance that as you're stacking boards and you're writing draft column? Because at one point, you had the ring in your pocket. You're ready to propose. You're like, oh, baby, I just need the right time. And then some new information has presented itself, some new red flags. You're like, oh, I'm not so sure anymore. Because, like, you loved this player, and now you get a season of bad tape. How do you balance those two things? Because, just because his most recent season was bad does not guarantee his NFL career will be bad. But the other side of it, if it was flipped the other way, bad tape early, great tape late, either way, that both evaluations are sort of out there in the ethos with the Nussmeier picture. How does that affect Nussmeier? And then just sort of in general for you, when you evaluate a guy, let's say it was reversed, say he had terrible tape early and then he turned it around. How does that affect as you're putting this together?
Yeah, that's an amazing question, and I'm really glad you asked it, because it's a very fun philosophical discussion when it comes to draft evaluation, and it differs, from evaluator to evaluator. But to me, that's something that's one of the most important things to me as a draft evaluator is your latest tape needs to be your best tape. If you're not on an upward trajectory going into the league, I really can't bet on you to continue to get better at the NFL. If you're declining in college, not a player I'm comfortable with, taking a shot on, kind of taking a V and getting back up better in the league. Again, Nussmeier, a little bit different conversation because injury was very much involved. But like Peter Woods at Clemson, that he's a lineman that I know has been talked about to the Jets a lot, is another great example. Because during the summer, like I thought 2024 was top 5 worthy tape. Like he was, a lot of people's first overall pick coming into the year. And I thought he had a really, really rough year. And now he's also a borderline top 50 guy for me. He went from second overall on my summer board to, probably going to be in the 30s somewhere on my board this year. So that's something like if you have a really good year before you're draft eligible and then a not great year, the year you are draft eligible, you're going to be lower for me. That's just something I don't like taking shots on. And again, there's context like, I know Will Levis comps are going to scare people. Not that they're similar players at all, but just, similar situations. Will Levis had a great 2022. And then in 2023, you saw there was turf toe. He had a shoulder throw. He had a throwing shoulder injury. He had to switch in offensive coordinators. His offensive line basically completely evaporated at Kentucky. So certain players, there's context for why their latest season might be worse than their year before last. But generally, like if you see a decline in the actual tape itself, it's going to scare me off of a prospect a lot.
Okay, fair enough. Again, a lot of these positions we're talking about today are immediate needs for the Jets, which again is what we're trying to do here. Pair interesting Senior Bowl players to where the Jets have needs, and hopefully there's a marriage here. So Garrett Nussmeier on the list. Let's go to some wide receivers. Garrett Wilson, a brother needs some help, for God's sakes. Can we find some in Mobile, Alabama? We'll start out with Georgia State wide receiver Ted Hurst.
Yeah, this is a really, really fun one. It's always a good time to talk about a group of 5 player this high. But I think just talking about my personal favorite watches, guys that are going to be, the my guys. I think Ted Hurst is probably my favorite player in this whole draft class that I've watched so far.
Wow.
Okay. He is currently barely outside of a first round grade. He's my wide receiver 5. I am really, really in love with him as a potential day 2 guy. And I think Mobile is going to be huge for his draft stock. I bet he's probably more in the second round conversation after you leave Mobile. Because really the only question I have with him is level of competition. Obviously playing at Georgia State, he never saw any really quality corner competition. But as far as just his actual player profile on tape, I don't have really any negatives to talk about on the scouting report. He really, to me, he looks like George Pickens kind of without the personality disorder to me. But I mean, like it's striking how similar him and George Pickens are to me. He's got this really lanky, lean, 6'3", 195-pound frame. And he's one of the best movers I've ever seen for that frame. Like he is so fluid. He's so smooth. He gets off the line and goes, dude. Like if you're not in, 10-yard cushion bail coverage, like he's going to fly past you on the boundary. Lethal deep threat, incredible at the catch point too. He's so good. He already looks like such a veteran at flashing his hands late and just has all the nuances of being a jump like contested catch threat down while also being an amazing separator deep and at the intermediate level. So really the only question I have is just that he was never truly tested by like a quality press corner like he will be at the NFL level. So I just, I would like to think with his skill set, he's not going to have a problem with press coverage, but we've just never seen him, we don't know if he has the play strength to survive it because we've never seen him, play against it. So Mobile's going to be big for his draft stock, playing against some other quality corners that he maybe didn't see during his time at Georgia State. But just based off the tape, he's probably, pound for pound my favorite player that I've watched so far this year.
Wow. Well, I'm curious about this. Again, I have not seen it yet myself in the Senior Bowl, but, they do a really wonderful job. Shout out to the Senior Bowl's social media team for putting out a lot of clips for the fans to see, like some of these one-on-ones. So one of the things that I'm curious about is like the one-on-ones when we get wide receiver versus DB, because that draws normally a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious how much stock goes into that, because I would assume advantage wide receiver, he knows what he's running and he has the entire field to work it versus the corner that's like, let me figure out what the hell's about to happen here. But how much actual stock goes into that? Because it's almost like, there's a few beat reporters on the Jets that do stock updates for draft prospects based on either their swag or names or other things of that nature. Is that level of like analysis here? Because not a lot of stock goes into it, or does more stock go into it? Sort of into your point about facing off some of these star receivers versus these star defenders.
Yeah, I mean, the one-on-ones are always difficult because it's funny. Like when you look at it, you kind of almost have to disregard it from the receiver and in the defensive line, offensive line, one-on-ones are another great
right, because we'll come up with that later, right? Yeah.
Yeah, receiver and defensive line, you almost have to take out of the thing because they're designed to win that drill. If you see the corner or the offensive line win a drill, that's really when your ears perk up and you think, hey, that's a solid rep from that guy, because they're designed to lose those drills. So when you see them kind of pop up and win something, that's really what means something to me. But yeah, like when you're a receiver, you get the entire field to work. Again, like the one thing I will be interested to see is just, if they let corners play press against Ted Hurst in this drill, because that's what I just want to see, his release. But as far as him actually getting open and getting the catch, it's more of a red flag as a receiver if you don't. Like, you're designed to win this drill. So,
Right. No, that's a good way to put it. All right, let's keep the wide receiver train rolling here, and let's go to USC wide receiver Jacoby Lane. Okay, let's throw him into the mix. I know Jet fans have been drilling over USC wide receivers this offseason. I'm not sure if it was for Jacoby Lane, so give us some more info.
Yeah, this is kind of Mekhi Lemon's running mate here throughout the whole year. And Jacoby Lane is not my favorite, receiver prospect. He's kind of become one of the bigger names with all the other opt-outs. One of the higher caliber receivers left in Mobile. But it's just his archetype of wide receiver is never going to be a type that I can get behind personally. But I know a lot of people love him. I'm sure fans will fall in love with Jacoby Lane at some point throughout this process, because if you just are somebody who wants to go through and more on a service level, just look at some highlight tapes from some of these wide receivers, Jacoby Lane's like highlight catch reel is like 20 minutes long. This guy has some of his paws are massive. He's got some crazy, absurd one hand, spectacular catches, lives at the catch point, just amazing jump ball guy. So I can totally see how you would fall in love with this guy, because he's awesome at the catch point. Just highlight reel catches everywhere. But I just think he's the athleticism really worries me. I don't think he's got the top end athleticism to separate vertically on the boundary, which is almost always my concern with these big guys, where you just almost have to stick them in the slot, because they just can't, they can't be a deep threat to these corners at the NFL level, because they're just not athletic enough in the vertical plane. I don't think he's the best separator. I think he's got there are tools as a separator. He's never going to be a top end separator because he's just not the athlete for it. But he's got I think it was like a 96% success rate on quick slants or something. It was a crazy number from this past season.
Wow.
Like, he has the quick slant down. You're not going to keep up with Jacoby Lane off the line on a quick slant. That's just kind of his, the one thing that he's his superpower at, I guess. But like the intermediate and the deep levels, he's just not. He's very, very raw as a separator. He's not a good salesman. He's not very sudden. He's stiff in his hips. So he's more of a guy that I'd have like in the early day 3 conversation. I know he's going to be day 2 for a lot of people, and he'll probably end up on day 2 in the draft. But that's just because I'm lower on his general type of receiver. But if you want to go out and get a ball winner, I think he's a guy you could take on with a pretty high ceiling. And he could be a really fun kind of jump ball, big X type receiver.
How do you judge it? Because this happens in your evaluation, I'm sure, all the time. Jacoby Lane is not the best wide receiver on USC. So he has we talk about him being a running mate for someone else, but that also affects the evaluation in terms of, I assume his USC running mate was getting the top opposing corners a lot of the time. So that opens up things for Jacoby. How do you evaluate that for Jacoby? That means I don't want to be disrespectful of saying it's easier for him than it is for, his running.
But he's not the number one focus of the defense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So does that at all affect when you look at statistics, success, things of that nature, that you're like, yeah, he's doing all this, but he had a running mate? Does that at all affect the evaluation process, or is that way too far in the minutia?
No, I mean, it's a conversation for sure. I think it's relevant too when you look at another big name receiver in this class with Carnell Tate, where his running mate is Jeremiah Smith, who's one of the bigger name receiver prospects that we've seen, since Megatron. So, it's very much conversation with a couple of receivers in this draft. I don't necessarily put as much weight behind it as other people do, because I think in the modern, collegiate defensive land, it's just like, you don't really see corners shadow guys as much as you used to. I think most times they just have a spot on the field and they stay there. So you're going to be seeing generally the same corners that the number 1 guy is seeing, if you're number 2 on the boundary, at least. So I don't put a whole lot of stock in it. It's probably something, of note. But I don't think, as long as you're playing at a power 4 level, you're going to see quality corners, regardless of whether you're the 1 or 2 on the boundary, just because guys are going to stay on their side of the field. So not something that I'm really going to knock anybody too much for. Carnell Tate's still a top 5 guy on my board. I'm huge on him. Right. So it certainly didn't knock me back too much on him.
Fair enough. We are going to continue to go through all these names on your Senior Bowl list, but we will also open up the conversations for any super chats. Again, if you guys, whether it's Senior Bowl prospects or not, we're talking about Senior Bowl prospects, but if you have players beyond that, draft questions or anything, super chat those in. We have Drew Beatty for a very limited amount of time. This is why we start the show early, to accommodate his schedule and get as much Drew Beatty action as possible in our lives. So we'll take several super chat questions if you have them about draft prospects, or draft situations or anything of that nature. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that little money sign and you guys can send in your super chat questions coming in. We have one from Philly Doodles. Philly Noodles jumping in here with a super chat. Here we go.
Wow.
He says, S. Robertson or Drew Allar if we pick extra quarterback twice in 2026. Okay. You mentioned a little bit about Drew Allar earlier. Yeah, give us more about S. Robertson.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson, I assume, is who he's talking about out of Baylor.
Yeah, right.
The quarterback. He's actually one of the few that are going to be left as the quarterbacks in Mobile. So I get to watch him this week. I'm excited to see him throw in person. I was intrigued by him over the summer. I thought his tape last year was pretty solid. I didn't think he took the leap he needed to this year to really be in like serious conversations. But if you want to take a swing on a late day 3 guy, I like the touch is impressive with him. I think he's got some fun, layering ability over the middle of the field. I think the same is most anybody who we're talking about in the day 3 conversation. I just don't think he has the mental tools to really be successful at the NFL level, or the physical ones. Like I don't think he's a really toolsy guy like Aller is either. If I was going to take a shot on one of those guys, Aller at least has kind of like that upper echelon tier of arm. Like he's going to be immediately one of the strongest arms in the NFL when he gets there, at least. But I don't think either one of those guys are really worth taking a relevant shot on above like the 6th or 7th round.
A quick follow-up on that, because like the back half of his super chat is like, if we pick extra quarterback twice, he has brought up the Washington example where the Commanders or Redskins or football team, whatever the hell they were at the time, I guess, I don't know, their name keeps changing. Whatever they were, they took RG3 with a top 2 pick, and then they took Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. And a lot of people gave them shit at the time, like what a waste of allocation of resources to do that. RG3 should be the guy forever. It ends up working out. Kirk has this amazing career, especially considering he was a 4th round pick. Are you for or against the double dip strategy of a team taking 2 quarterbacks in the same draft, even if it's not these guys on your screen that we're talking about specifically, just in general, the draft philosophy?
Right. I mean, I think if you're going to take one in like the 6th or 7th or as a UDFA or whatever, I'm fine with that. The 4th, I think that was a terrible process by the Redskins at the time. They stumbled into, being really lucky there. It's bad process, good results. It worked out in that happenstance for them, but I think generally that's a really, really bad way to go about the draft. So again, worked out for them there. I think that's generally not great process. And I certainly don't think there's anybody worth double dipping for in this quarterback class. Again, outside of maybe Nussmeier, who we talked about earlier. So
appreciate the honesty. Philly Noodles, thank you so much for setting that along. You added another raffle ticket to your combo platter. NC Green as a super chat.
Wow.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. All right, we have a quarterback octagon battle here. 2 enter, 1 leaves. Straight up, Chambliss or Nussmeier? Trinidad Chambliss or Garrett Nussmeier, similar size. Who do you prefer of the 2?
Yeah, definitely Nussmeier for me. Trinidad Chambliss is an interesting one that I figured was going to come up pretty soon on this show because I know he's hot right now in NFL circles, and the NFL supposedly really likes him.
Wow.
I can't get behind it. I haven't finalized his grade quite yet. I haven't gone and dug through all the playoff tape and everything just because he's still in the middle of suing the NFL or the NCAA for another year of eligibility at 24 years old. So I think just personally, if a guy is fighting, legally to stay in the league, to play a, 18th season of college football at 24 years old, probably knows he isn't a great NFL prospect. To me, we can just use context clues there. But also, I don't think he's the arm isn't great. It's probably serviceable at the NFL level, but when you mix it with his frame, I just don't think it's quite NFL caliber. I don't think he's that level of athlete. The mental tools, maybe there's some places you could work with there and develop him a little bit, but I don't think he's ready to step in day 1 at all. So I think the Trinidad Chambliss round 1 hype is absurd. I think he's much more of a day 3 project guy that I might take a shot on later. But I won't finalize him until he's for sure in his class and done with the whole lawsuit deal. But I think the fact that he's fighting to stay and play another year in college in his mid-20s is telling for sure.
All right, 2 things here, real quick. So again, to reiterate, the Jets don't have a 3rd round pick. Screw Hassan Reddick. We only have 33 or 44, outside of obviously their 2 first-round picks. You don't believe Chambliss should be taken at 33 or 44 because that is a very popular mock draft thing to do from others. I've seen it just in the universe of that happening all the time where Chambliss is at 33, Chambliss is at 44, and he's taken in these Jets mock drafts. You would advise against that?
Yeah, the only guy I'd be comfortable taking there is Ty Simpson. If he's I'd sprint Ty Simpson home at 33 if he's there. I don't think he will be, but if he does fall to that 33rd pick, I think the Jets should absolutely ring that in.
Okay, there you go. Appreciate the super chat, by the way, NC Green. You added another raffle ticket to your total. Again, we'll continue to take your super chat questions or comments for draft-related stuff in the middle of our breakdowns. But that was USC wide receiver Jacoby Lane. Again, we're speaking with our draft analyst extraordinaire. That is Iron City Film right there. At Iron City Film, you can see right there on your screen, Drew Beatty, our NFL draft analyst extraordinaire, baby. We've got 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe for all the latest draft coverage. Again, we're closing in on 8,320 subscribers. So every single day we're getting more and more, which very happy about. So thank you to those out in the audience. Now let's shift to defense. And, on the surface, some casual football fan may look at the Jets roster and go, they don't need a pass rusher. Look at their edge. They got Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, bing, boom, bam. They got two guys. But really, they need edge help. Jermaine Johnson's coming off of 20 kills. I imagine he's going to play a lot better this season, whether it's for the Jets or someone else if he gets traded. And Will McDonald is a pass rush specialist, but he struggles in basically every other area. And even in pass rush, he's inconsistent. So it seems like the Jets would really benefit from adding another defensive end to this group and allow Will McDonald to just be the pass rush specialist instead of forcing him out there to play on rundown. So let's get to some of these edge rushers in Mobile. You have Missouri edge Zion Young.
Yeah, it's this edge rusher group, unfortunately, was probably the biggest hit to everybody. We were going to talk about David Bailey and Ruben Bain, like two potential guys at options to number 2 for the Jets. And Mobile. It was going to be really fun to see those guys. Obviously, they are no longer coming to Mobile. But the two that we're going to talk about today, one of them on the screen right there, Missouri edge rusher Zion Young. He's a guy that's really kind of floated around like potential round 1 conversations, like back end round 1, definitely round 2. Like certainly seems like he's going to be a top 50, top 75 guy for sure. Much more of like an early to mid day 3 guy for me. I'm not quite that high on him, but he's certainly going to be in the conversation, and he's going to be one of the kind of premier guys at edge now with the opt outs. I think he's a very kind of one dimensional power rusher. You're going to get one thing from him as a pal. He's going to come at every tackle the same way, same pass rush plan, every single down, every single game. He's got a bull rush that he's going to start with, and he can chain it into a dip and rip when that doesn't work. I think he's really stiff. I don't think he's a great athlete, but he does bring a solid amount of power. He's got some heavy hands. When he has kind of like, if you start him out at the wide, like far outside the tackle, kind of that 7 wide 9 tech area, when he gets that kind of runway to build up some momentum, like he's going to blow a hole through a tackle's chest when he gets kind of runway to build up some speed. That's probably where you have to play him. I don't think he's quite strong enough to play 5 tech at the NFL level. Not going to be a guy that can kind of be that interior outside tweener, even at 260. I think he's a fine run defender. Like he's not somebody you're going to talk about as a day 1 contributor in run defense, but I don't think he's somebody you have to like take off the field in early downs. He's serviceable. So yeah, I just think he's kind of like a developmental potential, like rotational power guy you can draft on day 3. He wouldn't be somebody I take a shot on day 2, which is where he's being talked about right now. Certainly not in round 1 conversations. I think that's a little bit crazy. But certainly, a guy to keep an eye on. He'll probably have 1 or 2 highlight bull rushes in the one-on-one period. You'll see pop up on Twitter. But yeah, generally a guy that I'm lower on and not somebody I'd take until the 4th round. But still a fun player to keep an eye on down in Mobile.
Is there something charming? Because we always talk about, like, I bring up Isaiah Simmons all the time. Man, he can play everything. Safety, linebacker, pass rusher. He can do it all. Is there something charming about a guy that you just say, you know what, he can just do this really one thing, and you get him in? And to be honest, jack of all trades, master of none. So if you get a guy that can just come in and do his one thing, is that, in the right draft positioning, that whoever that is or whatever that is isn't overdrafted, but just in general, that philosophy that player you sort of like in a draft evaluation process, even if they can only do one thing really well?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look across the NFL, like you have to be really good at your one trick, but there's plenty of one trick ponies who are contributing to, significant like major competitors all over the NFL. So as long as your one trick is valuable to the team and you're really, really good at it, I mean, absolutely. There's spots for day 2 picks that are one trick. I mean, to me, I think David Bailey is a one trick pony, and he's being talked about as a potential 2nd overall pick. So
shots fired. Okay, all right. Let's go to it. You just brought it up. Let's go to the most hyped up Texas Tech edge rusher that people have been dying to see at the Senior Bowl. It's Romello Height, baby! Woohoo! Romello Height, give us all the latest on Romello Height.
Yeah, Ramon Height, he is kind of another one of these older players that's floating around, kind of in an Akeem Mesidor, another Miami edge rusher has been talked about to the Jets a lot at the top of round 2, who's really going to be originally going to be in Mobile, and now he's not anymore. Height is also kind of that older, has floated around college for a while, kind of in that bucket. He settled in Texas Tech this year. He was kind of David Bailey's running mate, played second fiddle to Bailey. He's another kind of designated pass rusher guy, kind of in that Will McDonald role. So I don't know necessarily if the Jets are itching to double up on pass rush specialists, guys that really can't play against the run. But on day 2, Romello Height is really one of the few guys in this class. This is a very, very stiff draft class to me. Not a lot of these guys are flexible, fluid movers, especially in the edge class. A lot of guys can't get low to the ground. But Romello Height's one of the few players in this class that has real bend. Like he'll get parallel to the ground sometimes to dip around these tackles. Wow. So that's really enticing to me. I think he's got, for a smaller guy in stature, like I think he's got some surprising power. You'll see sometimes he'll get a long arm in the right spot on a tackle's inside shoulder, and he'll really be able to lift him and displace him. The speed to power has some decent pop for his size. Obviously, he's got the athleticism to burn a guy around the edge. I think he's really, really awesome through the B gap too. He's got some fun lateral quickness. He's also just same with David Bailey. They're both Swiss Army knives at Texas Tech. They teach every single pass rushing move in the book. He's got, inside spin, he's got a chop, he's got a cross chop, he's got a swipe, everything in the bag. He's got it. So I think if you're in the market for a DPR, he's a guy that'd be at the top of my list on day 2. Again, I don't know if I love that fit for the Jets. Already Will McDonald kind of playing that role in the defense. But again, if you just want some pure pass rush injection, maybe at that 44 spot, I think Height is a big time guy to watch in that range. I think if you're looking for somebody to have some highlight wins from the defensive drills, the one-on-ones this week in Mobile, Romello Height's going to have quite a few pop up on Twitter.
All right, another edge. Let's go to Clemson edge T.J. Parker. He's on your list here.
And this is another guy who goes back to that conversation we had earlier about kind of Peter Woods and Nussmeier and Aller on that major dip the year before you're draft eligible. TJ Parker was another guy who I had top 5 on my summer scouting board.
Wow.
Over the summer, and he is a day 3 guy for me now. Which is a really big dip. There's a lot of Clemson guys that happened to this year. Parker, he's still very much in round 1 conversations. Like he's mainly been mocked in that kind of back end in the 20s area. So he's certainly a potential target for the Jets at 33 if he's there. Because he is very much the opposite of a DPR. Like he's going to come in and be an immediate run defender. That's kind of his calling card, if you will, in the league. He's going to step in as immediately the best run defender or one of the best run defenders on his team. Amazing anchor. He'll be able to sit even as a 5 technique. Head up with a tackle. Be able to survive double teams. He can shed really well. He's got very heavy hands. So certainly a guy that I have faith in as a run defender at the NFL level. But I really don't see him being successful as a pass rusher at all against NFL competition. You'll see some highlight, there's long arm, bull rush. He's got a fun power arsenal that you'll see some highlight wins with sometimes at the college level. But generally I just don't know if he's quite strong enough, and quite explosive enough to win with power against NFL tackles. And he's again, another really stiff, kind of unathletic guy that's not going to win around the hoop a lot, not going to run the outside arc. Can't win through the B gap. He's just not twitchy enough. So for somebody who's not going to win around the corner and threaten the tackle with speed, I just don't think he's powerful enough to make up for it. But again, just a great power, solid power rusher with really, really fun run defending upside. So if you're looking a guy, again, 33 is a little bit rich for my board. But if you really value run defense, an edge rusher, you want somebody to come into that room and just be a 3-down edge that can really, really help your run defense on the defensive front. Parker's going to be a guy that, if he falls there, which I still think he ends up around 1 guy in general, but could very, very much be a target for the Jets at 33.
Wow, fascinating. Again, we're speaking of Drew Beatty. We got 300 people in the room. Over 100 of those 300 are watching on YouTube. We have 27 likes. What in God's green earth are you holding on to those likes for? Let's share. It's we're a little after the holiday season here. Let's share those likes, people. That's a free way to contribute to the program. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. 27 likes. Like, for God's sakes, I can't show my mama that. I can't put that on my fridge for mama. So increase those likes. For God's sakes. All right, let's go to another Texas Tech guy. This is another guy that I constantly see in mock drafts for Jet fans. It is Texas Tech defensive tackle Lee Hunter.
Yeah, Lee Hunter is another guy that was a huge playoff riser. He had an awesome game against Oregon on a national stage. I think that put him on a lot of people's radars. He was somebody that I really heavily debated taking at 33 in my mock draft last week for the Jets.
Okay.
I think he'd be one of the best potential picks there at the top of the second round for the Jets. I mean, 44 would be a home run, but I'd very much consider him at 33 if he makes it there. Lee Hunter is very much fits kind of the common mold in this draft class of a really solid, like, going to be a day one amazing run defending nose tackle. But he's got the pass rushing ceiling to make up for it too. Where like he's not just a pure run defending nose tackle. He's also got some pass rush juice. He's got a fun bull rush. He's got a nice club swim. He's got some powerful hands. So a guy that's not just a one dimensional nose tackle. And off the bus guy, like he's listed at 330. I think he's a lot closer to 340. I mean, he's absolutely massive and he's relatively explosive for being that big. So certainly a guy that I think he'll end up in the round one conversation by the time April rolls around. But if he's there in the second round, I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Jets to replace that Quinnen Williams role.
And just to explain this real quick, folks, because I would have wanted this information, but I don't think it's fair because we're going to be finding out this information early here in Senior Bowl week. So we've got Senior Bowl practice coming up. We got the Senior Bowl game coming up on Saturday. I'd love to know the heights and weights of all these prospects that we've talked about so far, but they're about to be measured and everything else at the Senior Bowl. So maybe Drew has whatever information is close to up to date for him, but I wanted to wait. So folks, we'll get all the Senior Bowl measurements coming out from the Senior Bowl. They'll be tweeting all those out. So I wanted to wait until we had the official measurements that should be coming in at the early part of this week as players are reporting again with all the snowstorm action as people are coming in. All right. A couple players left here on the list before we say sayonara here, Drew Beatty. Let's go to the defensive backfield. Jets need plenty of help at both corner and safety. Let's highlight some of the safeties here in this class. We'll start off with Toledo defensive back Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Yeah, he's another really fun group of five prospect. He's probably going to end up, if I had to take a shot, is probably the top group of five guy off the board in this draft class. Okay. He's a really fun safety. I think he's going to be very much in the conversation at 33 and 34 for the Jet, 44, excuse me, for the Jets. He's a guy that I'm more in the third round conversation on, but I can certainly see why people are like early second round high on him. The level of competition worries me a little bit, but really, I mean, he's just such a toolsy safety. Like he's an enforcer over the middle. I mean, he's really long frame, 210-ish pounds is probably what I'd guess he'll weigh in at. I think he's 6'2", 6'1", somewhere in that range. But I mean, he's just, somebody that I forget the actual fumble number, but he caused a lot of fumbles this year, knows how to attack the ball, knows how to create turnovers, knows how to jump passing lanes. Really, he's really good at timing his break with the QB's release to clog passing lanes. The frame is really enticing. I think he's just really just a kind of an imposing presence over the middle, kind of that old school safety, going to knock your head off. You come over the middle. I think he can come in the box and be a really great run defender. I think he run fits really well. So I think, I wish he'd see routes develop a little bit faster with me. I think the mental aspects are what's hanging me up a little bit with him to keep him out of the early second round conversation. I just think doesn't quite see things develop as fast as I'd like him to. That's something that's going to come with time and reps at the NFL level. So I think he's absolutely somebody that I could see going in that 33, 44 pick to the Jets, where they obviously have a gaping hole at safety. I think he's probably the most obvious fit and somebody that I think we'll see be one of the biggest risers in Mobile this week.
All right, let's go to another big school back again. USC DB Kamari Ramsey here on your list.
Yeah, Kamari Ramsey is another safety that really nobody's talking about right now, and I think he's going to be somebody that makes a lot of money in Mobile this week. I think he's more like late third, early fourth on the consensus board right now, but I think he deserves to be much more in the early to mid day two conversation than he is. He's kind of in that, just to draw comparison from last year, not they're quite the same player, but in that Xavier Watts role, the guy at Notre Dame that I know was blocked to the Jets a lot. He's very much that, we talk about a lot of box safeties in this draft class. So I think it's very box safety heavy. Ramsey's one of the few kind of prototypical free safeties, the guy you're going to play over top, single high coverage that can really just roam the whole back end of the field, super rangy, great instincts in coverage. He sees things develop really fast and, has a hairpin trigger on coming down and breaking on passes in front of him. Does a great job just patrolling, that whole back end. I don't think he's a bad run defender at all. Certainly not his strength, coming in and run fitting, but I think he's serviceable enough for how good in coverage he is. So if you're looking for more of that prototypical free safety role on day two, I think Kamari Ramsey would be top of my list. I think he's going to be really good in Mobile this week.
Xavier Watts, he had 5 picks as a rookie. He's a finalist for the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, which we'll hear in the NFL Honors Super Bowl week, and a Golden Domer, baby. And the Jets just didn't want him. Great. Glad the Falcons could have him, those bastards. All right, let's get one last name in here to round out our 10 players that are worth watching if you're a Jets fan that are going to the Senior Bowl this week that Jets fans should and could have some interest in. One more defensive back. Let's go to Penn State this time. Zakee Wheatley.
Yeah, Zakee Wheatley, I think, is kind of where you see the drop off with this Senior Bowl group after all the opt outs. I think we've kind of reached the late day 2, early day 3 conversation. There's a couple of safeties you could have plugged in here. Like you got, Zakee Wheatley, you could have thrown in, TCU safety Bud Clark. You could throw in Kansas State safety BJ Payne. There's a lot of these early day 3, late day 2 safeties that are going to be in this conversation. It's Zakee Wheatley's much more in that kind of typical box safety role that we were just talking about. He's kind of the guy that stepped up after Kevin Winston Jr. left Penn State. And he's been kind of the heart and soul of the back end of that Penn State defense that took a lot of hits this year, talent-wise. So I think he was kind of the glue guy, much like how, like you see, not nearly the level of player he is, but you saw how Caleb Downs kind of was the glue that held Ohio State's secondary together. Zakee Wheatley was very much that for Penn State this year. Not nearly the same caliber player, obviously, but I think he did a very similar, had a very similar impact on their secondary. I think he's a guy that really run fits well, comes down in the box, contributes well in run defense. I think he's a solid athlete. Not necessarily the ball production you'd want, not a huge production guy. But again, I think he's a really solid developmental late day 2, early day 3 safety, much like those other guys I mentioned. There's going to be a couple of guys in that bucket that could all be potential options in the 4th for the Jets. But yeah, I mean, Wheatley, he's just kind of, pick your flavor out of those safeties. And I think he's going to be one of the more fun athletes in that range. And I think he's a guy that has the potential to come in and weigh, help really over the measurements. Mobile, those could help him getting official measurements on the board. Because I think he's kind of an off the bus guy. And I'm excited to see how he fares in some of the 11-on-11 periods.
There you go. Those are the 10 players Jet fans should be watching at the Senior Bowl practices and game this week. You'll be getting a little bit of all of that action. Drew, we're running out of time with you, but I just have one question for you. As you mentioned at the beginning of the show, you're going to be heading out to Mobile tomorrow morning very early and get ready for all of the activity. What are you hoping, either just this year and just in general, when you do all your studying at home and tape study and everything else you're doing, what does the Senior Bowl add to it? What does the live experience do for you? What are you looking for when you hop on the plane, bus, truck, car, anything and everything over there to Alabama? What are you hoping to learn and ascertain information?
I mean, I think generally it helps kind of confirm things you see on film when you get to see these guys, whether it's a quarterback, you get to see them throw in person and see how the ball just comes off their hand. You get to see, just in general, see how guys look and move in person. That helps to contextualize things you see on tape. But really the biggest thing about Mobile to me is players like Ted Hurst and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, these group of 5 players that you see that just have awesome tape. But there's a part of you that wonders, like, hey, how much did the competition level really factor into this? I just love getting to see the group of 5 guys go up against some of the other best players in the country and see them really solidify themselves in the top, like David Walker. You saw the D3 edge last year out of Central Arkansas, who you saw come in and really blow up Mobile and end up as a top 50, top 75 pick, whatever he was, Tampa Bay. I tend to fall in love with some of these smaller school guys, and it's just really fun to see them get to rise in Mobile against some better competition. So that's always my favorite part.
Well, I can't wait to hear even more from you again, folks. Spoiler alert, a week from today, we'll be doing a 2-round post-Senior Bowl Jets mock draft, so we'll get right back to all the mock drafting. Drew, safe travels to Mobile, Alabama. I'm sure we'll be lighting you up with random text while you're at the Senior Bowl for all kinds of prospects. And
always.
Thank you for always playing with us in the sandbox, Drew. It's a lot of fun.
Yep, thank you, Paul. Always a great time.
All right, there he is. Drew Beatty, baby, joining us here on the program. Again, he joins us every Monday on the show to provide his latest draft film analysis, insights, and everything in between. Thank you to all the Super Chats, by the way, NC Green and Philly Doodle for sending in Super Chat questions for Drew. I really appreciate that. And MFC for kicking us off with a gifted membership here on the channel. Here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to open up the phone lines. I have a few takes. If, we don't get a lot of calls, I have a few takes I want to get off my chest about all the latest with the coordinator search, as the Jets are looking for an offensive coordinator or a veteran play caller and a defensive coordinator, that we do not have that information yet, which is interesting for a lot of reasons. All right, folks, we'll take a quick HEP timeout, and your phone calls are welcome next. Again, we got 300 people in the room, including over 100 on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like button on YouTube. Again, we have been growing like crazy. We have been growing like crazy, people, which is awesome, and I'm very overwhelmed with the response there's been on the Daily Jet Show and the shorts and everything else. Again, we're only a handful of subscribers away from 8,320. So thank you guys for the support. We'll be right back after this.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets. Boy Green, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily, Buzzing Daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go!
Let's go, baby. We're in the second half of the show. Again, if you're just waking up, you're like, second half of the show? You've been only on for 21 minutes, pal. Well, no, it's been 51 minutes. Again, every Monday we start at 7 o'clock now. Again, it'll be for the next couple of months. No other day is affected. For the people that rewatch this or audio only, this affects you not at all. But yes, we will continue to do that. Then a week after the draft, once that's finished, we get report cards in. We'll go back to normal time for all these shows. Just real quick, I said I would get to it if we didn't have calls. We do have calls, so I just want to say this off the top, because this has sort of annoyed me in the Jets social media streets. People, did we watch a different season together last year? Because the people that are like, oh my God, what's AG doing? Poor Tanner Engstrand. How dare he pull the plug on Tanner Engstrand? Did I watch a different fucking offense than you people? Like, did he show some signs of, there was a little creativity there? Yeah, sure. But the offense freaking sucked. And sure, you can point at quarterbacks and all these other things of reasons and excuses why he didn't perform better. But like, this is where we're drawing the line, right? Like, AG, all the mistakes people think he's made and poked holes through, replacing Tanner Engstrand is where the buck stops here, and people are criticizing AG for replacing Tanner Engstrand. I'm losing my marbles over him. I'm taking crazy pills. Our offense freaking stunk. It was terrible. God awful. And I can't believe the amount of tweets that are coming in. Boom, boom, boom. Can you believe the Jets are ending things with Tanner? Yes. Our offense sucked. Now, if they would have kept him, I'd be like, all right, he showed a few signs. But, like, why are we dying and jumping in front of bullets for Tanner Engstrand as if he's Chris Banjo, man? Like, Chris Banjo, I'd dive in front of a bullet for that guy. It's Chris friggin' Banjo. Tanner Engstrand? Well, I mean, I don't want to get shot, but like, what are we doing here? I just am losing my friggin' mind. Do people just complain to complain? Is that what this is? Is that part of the loop? I'm not in the game, so I don't understand. We just have to constantly complain about something in Jet social media land. That, oh boy, here we go. Now, I don't know if AG will be able to successfully replace Tanner with somebody else, but the bar can't be set very high for an offense that was near the bottom of the league in every massive major statistic of yards and points. Whoever the next guy is, it's going to be hard not to surpass it. I just don't understand. Just a random Boy Green rant. I don't get it. Don't get it. Don't understand. Not sure why we're yelling about it. Don't know. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. Let's go to the phone lines. I'm just getting, I'm just getting this stage, I guess. I just have to get something up. I just wake up, Tanner Engstrand, son of a... I don't know what the hell's going on. Anywho, let's go back to the phone lines. Kick us off.
Hey, fellas. Hey, Paul. Yeah, I mean, did Tanner Engstrom even have one opening drive touchdown this
I
year?
don't believe so. No.
I don't think so. I mean, come on, man. That's your bread and butter right there. Even Gates had that.
Yes, several times. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know about that. I'm intrigued about what Beatty was saying about that one receiver who's his favorite player in the draft. He said the
Oh
tall
yes,
guy.
I still have it. The Georgia State kid, Ted Hurst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna look at some tape on him. I would like an Altoon type of player, like a real, like someone who just gets open and is big, and he that would be a nice matchup with GW. I think.
Yeah,
Um,
real quick on the school website, they're listing him at 6'3", 195. Again, I'll be curious to see. He was first team All Sun Belt this past season. I will be curious to see how some of these guys measure up because as someone that used to cover Syracuse football pre-COVID, and I would go to pro days, and that the coolest experience of all time, getting to be like elbow to elbow with scouts from NFL teams and stuff. I'm like, man, the Jet scout is here. Like, that's so cool. I want to just interrogate him about Jet stuff, but he's sort of here for a job. But okay. So like going to these things and then seeing how some of the things have been fudged, right? Like the stopwatches of like what the school
oh
reports the
yeah,
40-yard dash time is. And I'm like,
come
I
on,
don't know.
man.
That's not what I saw, right? Oh, yeah, scout goes like, 4.5, and the school goes 4.35. I'm like, what? Huh? So
Right.
like, some of the schools like, I think they fudge the number. So to go to a neutral event like the Senior Bowl, a neutral event like the Combine, and get, this guy's actually 6'3", he's not 6'1". Oh wow,
Yeah.
this guy's actually 250 pounds, not 220. So they fudge that stuff up all the time. So that's a big piece to me. But he is listed at 6'3", 195.
All right, we'll see. I think next year you got to go to the Senior Bowl.
Oh, that'd be so cool. The
Yeah, I mean
Combine.
that's it's part of the gig. You just got to do it. You write it off on your taxes as far as the expenses expended. It's part of your gig. What you do.
Yeah.
You take Pop with you or some.
Oh my
Somebody like.
God, that'd be cool, right? Because they have in both places they have a radio row, and I think it would be fascinating for you guys because, like, and for me, obviously, because I'm a nerd for it all. But like, oh my God, at Mobile, Alabama, from stories I've heard, there's NFL Network personalities, there's ESPN personalities, so like. You could grab guys for interviews about Jet stuff. So, like, if Tom Pelissero was sitting there, I could get a quick 2 minutes or something about what he thinks the quarterback situation is going to be. So on top of giving you guys draft stuff, which I'm sure is interesting to all the draft, nerds in our audience, and we have 4 picks in the top 44, and that stuff's cool. I think that's the other part of it. So you get that at both events. The Combine obviously is inherently draft related, but it's right before free agency and stuff too. So 100%, I have to put it on the list. It has to be done. It has to.
Well, looking at the games yesterday, my big takeaway was the brilliant coaching. Just the play calling and the chess matches going between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed both games. I mean, of course, I would like to have seen the Patriots go home, but
Come on, Denver, kick the field goal early. I can't believe it. They were already up 7-0. I'm like, oh my God, go up 10-0. Boom. Like, put the pressure on New England. And when they went for it, I was like, and then I saw the immediate play call. I'm like, and then go look. It ends up costing them the game as the weather gets worse in the game.
Oh my God, that weather turned like on a dime. That was crazy.
Now, here's what we all have to do. Well, now it's a little easier. You have Sam Darnold on the other side. Although some people, apparently some Jet fans are still upset and they don't want to root for Sam Darnold. So whatever in the audience. But I don't think it's like people are saying, oh boy, the worst case scenario for Jet fans, Sam Darnold or the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. It's not worst case for me. I don't want the Patriots to win at all.
Never.
At any iota of my body. Does not want to see them win. Now, here's... Again, I prefer they weren't in the Super Bowl, but now that they are in the Super Bowl, I've got to enjoy several times seeing the Patriots lose in the Super Bowl, and that's great. They've lost twice to the Giants, lost to the Eagles during my 21st century here, which has been marvelous to see. So to see them get all the way to the doorstep and lose would be thrilling. So yes, I am absolutely. I think this isn't a crazy statement to say. Seattle is clearly a better team from pillar to post. And now that doesn't mean the best team wins, but
that's right.
Let's hope so. So please, Sam, vanquish the Patriots.
On that note, I owe the Giants. I still owe the Giants a bouquet of flowers just for beating that undefeated Patriot team.
Oh my God! Do you know how annoying that would be? Forever we'd be hearing about the team, and now it's the joke. It's 18-1. So twice again. If Eli Manning said, you know what, I want to be a farmer. I don't want to be I want to be a farmer. Tom Brady would have 9 Super Bowl rings. How disgusting, nauseating would that be? So Eli Manning, again, there's supposed to be some Jets-Giants thing here, and there is every time we play. Salute to you, good sir. Thank you for preventing that from happening. Yes.
Yeah, if we get Arch Manning next year, I would consider bringing Eli Manning in as a quarterback coach. And say, look, his uncle Eli, just you and him are tied to the hip, and that's it.
And by the way, this is a year in advance. If somehow the Jets are in a position to draft Arch Manning next year, and I hear any bullshit about, well, Arch has got to make sure he doesn't go to the Jets. If I'm the Jets, I am telling Arch, if he ends up being the guy, who knows? There's a lot of season left to be played. Maybe another quarterback emerges. But let's play in the Arch sandbox. I am telling Arch at my first opportunity, hello, I'm the Jets general manager, blee, blah, blue. Hopefully it's still Darren Muji, but who knows? Hey, Arch, we are drafting you at the number 1 overall pick. So don't think about pulling any fast shit, pal. I'm telling you right now in January, let it marinate in your brain wearing green, because that's what you're wearing. We're not considering it. We're not going to trade the pick. We're not going to do anything. There's not going to be any bullshit here, pal. Jet fans have been suffering forever. We finally have a chance at quarterback, and now you're going to be like, yeah, I don't think I want to play for you. Well, tough beans, pal. You better figure it out. Right. 100%. So I just want to start getting that out into the universe now, because like if we are in that position a year from now, I am going. That would just. How would that not incense every Jets fan on the planet? Like, oh my God, we just went through another shitty season and finally we have a really good pick. Okay, here we go. This could be our quarterback. Actually, I don't want to play for you. So you're just destined for ineptitude and rotting in hell and purgatory. Sorry, this quarterback, even though you're in a position to take him, he doesn't want to play for you. Yeah, screw you, pal. Teams that pick at the top of the draft suck. So get used to it. 100%.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it, Hep. I'm just yelling all over the place this morning. I don't know. I was about to say, what did I drink or eat this morning? But I've drank or eat nothing. So nothing is a part of that diet of going in there. But come on, man. Get the hell out of here. Not happening. I don't give a shit what anyone says in the universe. Hell no. By the way, the Seahawks are a betting favorite to start the Super Bowl this week. Or it's next week. There's a bye week this week. Pro Bowl, mini games, and all that stuff is coming up. All right, let's go back to the phone line. Philly Doodles is up next.
Yo, what's going on? Not much. I get to work from home today, so I figured I'd call in now.
There you go. Sure.
Yeah. Beginning of the week, end of the week, sandwich it real nice. That dude, Beatty, is pretty knowledgeable. It's good. Definitely.
Yeah. A lot of people, the biggest criticism I get either live or after the fact is, oh my God, that guy talks a million miles a minute. So that's the criticism I hear from what people say. They say, can you tell Drew to slow it down? I'm like, that's just his cadence. I don't think I could tell him to slow down his talking. So that's just how he talks. But yeah, it's the only criticism I get. Besides that, I'm glad that everything happened the way it happened. I love Dom C, and Dom C's great. He does a lot of great stuff. We did him forever, but he got a new job opportunity. Couldn't do it. And I'm like, shit, now, we're like already in the middle of the season. I've already sort of committed to the bit. We need to find somebody else. And he says, well, I'll help you. I know this guy, my brother, sister's cousin's gardener's nephew knows a guy. And I'm like, oh, great. And they sent me to one person that sent me to another, got me to Drew Beatty, and Drew's been terrific. So I'm very pleased that I want to present people in front of you that you guys can get some sort of information from. And clearly he does his work. So a big salute, big ups to Drew.
First off, he's coming from Dom C. That's not a red flag. It's
yeah,
a green
right.
flag.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Yeah, right.
It's like our cousin Vinny. He's our cousin Vinny right now. This guy.
100%.
And that's
you're a friend of time. You're a friend of us. Come on in, Drew. Come on, Drew. Yeah, 100%.
And any criticisms is kind of funny. That's fine. What I'll do is I'll grab my bat phone and call all the draft analysis guys I know, which are zero personally, that can get on this channel for us. So don't worry. I'll just open my own channel and stare at nobody and talk to nobody.
Yeah, good. Like that.
But so it's not pushback, but Justin Fields' time to throw was about the longest in the NFL. It don't matter who's the coordinator. Actually, he would have made a great coordinator look like shit, which would have been even more alarming. So it's like double fold with that. So it's kind of a negative, positive, positive, negative. I don't think I'm crying about any trend. I don't think any of us should be. But to me, the evaluation coming from him is just so miserable because of how bad the QB play was. I think somebody pulled out Marco Nania, came out and realized and dropped the nugget that wide receivers through the year were fourth in separation. So that just lets you know how bad QB play really, 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 really was. It even like tripled down on it. So my thing is, it's whatever what's going on with Enstrom. If the kid hasn't said I'm leaving, which he could have already,
right,
then he's not going nowhere, right? Maybe he said, fine, I'll take the polishing. But my problem is still going to be Glenn can't have all that respect. Like, he's a first-time head coach, and he's making moves like if he's Bill Parcells, who was a coach for many years before he started doing what he did. That's what I'm getting thrown off of. And I don't want to say I'm falling off the Jets bandwagon of wanting to be winners, but Glenn is getting too much responsive power with no power set. Like he's trying to be a super coach, and he's never coached before. Like this type of power he's getting, you would probably get after your second or third go at being an NFL head coach. Like if you know what I mean, that's just my opinion. I understand whatever Woody just said here. Please take the keys and drive this straight. And it's like, okay, fine. But not every Uber driver is a 5-star, right? You know what I'm saying? And you get a 3-star Uber driver, you might have some bullshit happen. And some bullshit is happening. I think Frank Reich and Wink Martindale are key alarming things because we're hearing the scuttlebutt getting dropped here and there, not from the Jets, which is beautiful, but from other reports that nobody who has any real future wants to come here. No coordinator, hot name wants to come here. And 2 names to me are very good, which is Leonard and Durante Jones. To me, those are great names. Period. End of story. So if either one of them come here, I feel good. And Frank Reich, please, like, what are we talking about? He got fired.
I would say this, okay? So again, I love, like, for instance, with someone who gave another update on it, Rich Cimini. I love Rich. I know a lot of fan in our, he's a polarizing guy to our fan base. Some people love him, some people don't.
Oh, for sure.
I respect him. He's covered this team for almost 4 decades. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's awesome. He and several other beat reporters have continued to say that Wink is going to be the guy. Wink's going to be the guy. And maybe they're all right, and they just have the right sourcing and they're right. But there was an indication on Saturday afternoon around 1:00. Rich Cimini has to do updates for like the ESPN website. If you go to ESPN.com, click the Jets tab and scroll down, he has exclusive updates on ESPN. And sometimes he doesn't even tweet; they just live there. And at 1:30-ish on Saturday, he says Wink is flying up to the Jets to do their interview. And Rich said this quote I'm about to say, I wouldn't be surprised if this deal got done within the next 24 hours. Now, I know he didn't say the deal will get done. He says I wouldn't be surprised. Like, things are trending in the right direction. It was good. Oh, boy, it's happened. We're here on Monday at 8:07 a.m., well after that time, and nothing's happened yet. So is it possible that in the middle of the show, Wink gets hired? Of course. It is possible. Sure. I'm not going to discount that. But it's also possible that maybe these no leaks coming out of the building and the leaks that are coming out are fugazi, that it's not that Wink is this clear guy that's going to be it. And because we haven't heard any hiring information yet, and now the Jets, by the way, there's the other update, Jim Leonard is allowed to do an in-person interview with the New York Jets right now. And by the way, everyone else, because now he's eliminated from the playoffs, unfortunately, but he is allowed to do an in-person interview with the New York Jets today. This is the first time he's allowed to do an in-person interview with the Jets or any other team. So let's see how things develop. Long story short, maybe the leaks aren't as it appears. So let's sort of see what happens there. And then on Tanner, well, first off, AG, right? Of course, he has all this blood on his hands. He hired these people. So if these people aren't good, I'm going all Jerry Seinfeld. I can hear it in my voice. What are we doing? If these people who he hired suck, then of course Aaron Glenn has blood all over his hands. And we knew the power structure when he was hired before the GM. And Woody essentially handed him the keys to the franchise to figure this thing out. So I get it for Tanner, right? He had shitty quarterback play, and who knows, even if the greatest coordinator of all time was in here, would he have also sucked? I don't know. I would feel like the greatest coordinator of all time would have made Justin Fields look better than the worst quarterback he's ever looked like. So, again, I don't just give Tanner this pass. Again, if the Jets would have kept him, I would have been like, cool, there were some signs. them not keeping him as the play caller, it sounds like by all accounts, is something I'm not going to just lose sleep over, and I just refuse. But people, again, I can only assume they're yelling to yell in the social media streets of, look at that. If Aaron Glenn wouldn't have done shit, let's say he ran it back with this group and said, I'm AG, it's coaching, and I know I got it right. Fuck everybody else. I'm running it back. We would be living on this fucking show of if the head coach, what a fucking can't read the room, tone deaf asshole, just brought back the whole fucking staff after going 3-14. So we would have given him shit. He changes a bunch of shit. Oh, wow. This guy sucks at picking coaches. Now he's picking new coaches. He sucks. So no matter what this bastard did, people were going to ride him and rake him over the coals. So, you know what? At this point, it sort of is what it is. And we're just going to have to hope and pray that he's now moved on from a lot of these coaches, that he hires decent coaches. Or Jim Leonard, who I'm all over the place for. If it's Jim Leonard or whoever the offensive guy is, the only guy we know right now is Frank Reich. Let's see who they hire, and let's hope that it's good.
Now, so if we're saying that Frank Reich goes in there and he's a mentor to helping him calling, like that's my thing. It should, if he was a passing game coordinator and this was a big hike for him and he's having some issues, so then you have to say you're hiring a new OC, period, end of story. That's what you're doing. But if you let Frank Reich come over here and say he's the QB coach and passing game coordinator, that's one and the same. That makes more sense to me while he's helping and assisting, Enstrand. But the motion, I mean, listen, I wish two things are the same. I wish we did this 1,000% with LaFleur. Just gave him a little lateral move and he never left because we had a feeling he was going to be okay. He just had a bad quarterback, which was the case. And then we were set back 5 years as a franchise because of it, right?
Well, I would say the thing on LaFleur real quick is like, and this is where I think there's a slight difference between the LaFleur and the Tanner Engstrand situation. LaFleur, when other quarterbacks came in, they looked good. That weren't Zach Wilson. We're like, holy shit, I think this is a Zach Wilson problem, folks. Here, Justin Fields stunk, of course, but Brady Cook sucked. Tyrod Taylor sucked. Like I don't like Taylor had as many interceptions as touchdowns. Brady Cook was obviously inherently awful. I don't have to say anything. Justin Fields had 4 games under 60 passing yards. Like I don't know, man. I don't even see the LaFleur the consistent LaFleur flashes of other guy came in, immediate success. Wow, the Zach Wilson problem. Maybe we made the wrong mistake with LaFleur, who, by the way, real quick on Mike LaFleur, he is the front runner to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Excuse the fuck out of me. Oh boy, wow, that's what an offseason. Joe Douglas got GM interviews. Robert Shaw is a head coach. Mike LaFleur could be a head coach. What in the name of everything that's always? What kind of weird, bizarro world exists where Saleh's still the head coach here, and the first plum off his coaching tree is Mike LaFleur? Like unbelievable, all the weird, bizarro world shit that's going on right now. So we'll stay tuned on the Cardinals search. But yeah, that's the one difference for me on the Engstrand LaFleur stuff.
I hear you, and I think it's all deplorable. It's not, none of it's deplorable. I think everything's the same in the end, right? When we're comparing apples almost to apples in the end, it's almost all literally the same. We just hope everything gets turned around the correct way. Well, yeah, when Beatty was breaking down, someone was telling me about Sawyer Robertson being like, his feet not ever setting properly when he's throwing the ball and everything. He just reminds me of Herbert, and I think I hate saying this, but when we see one of these quarterbacks drafted to one of these other teams that make QBs good, that's when I get mad because I'm like, damn, why weren't we able to have somebody in the room to help somebody develop well enough to be halfway decent? You know what I'm saying? So I would like to see the Jets get to that point at some point, but beggars can't be choosers, and it is what it is, man. I'll let you get to other people.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Philly Doodles, for all your thoughts. Yes. And Philly chef, he was doing some cooking there, or drinking, making some food drink action activity. Very nice. A multitasker extraordinaire. Shout out to Philly Doodles for joining us here on the program. Again, folks, make sure you guys like the video here. This is Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcasts. I see we have over 130 people watching on YouTube. God bless. Thank you for joining us here on the program. Again, we're 2 subscribers away from 8,320. Appreciate you guys out there in the audience. Again, you guys can rewatch the Drew Beatty action from earlier in the show, his top 10 players to watch at the Senior Bowl for the New York Jets. Up next, Mayday alert. Alon joins us here on the program. Oh, great. Thank God. At least you got the prediction right, for God's sakes. Nice. Seahawks. Hawks. Nice.
Paul, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, the Jets might as well just fold the franchise, honestly. If the Patriots win this year,
that'd be a tough pill to swallow.
And by the way, how about that Leonard Taylor? Man, that's some play, man.
LT3.
You realize when a player like that makes a play,
yeah,
it's just a complete F you to the Jets. It is.
Yeah.
So I watched your shorts yesterday.
What a journey. Yeah.
With Gannon taking the Packer job.
Surprising.
And Wilson taking the Giant job.
Yeah, very surprising.
And someone was really giddy, and that was you, Paul.
Because, look, it's all laying up here, Alon. You know it. I know it. You're getting a little nervous, pervis. We didn't even do a bet. And you're getting nervous, pervis. I see the top of your forehead there is getting a little sweaty. Yeah, a few bullets of sweat are dropping down as you're saying, "Oh boy, wait a second here. Is this Jim Leonard to the Jets thing for real?" Because I was told, in report, mutual interest seems like boy, Leonard's head to the Packers. Just kidding, Jonathan Gannon. Oh boy, the Giants. That's their clear number 1 guy. Denard Wilson. Interesting. What could be happening here? Fascinating.
Well, I think Tatiana would murder me if we make another beer.
Yeah, there's no bet necessary for this.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
There has to be something, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay, but you got to be feeling nervous.
No, I don't think he's taking the job.
So what does this mean? But why would he not? There has to be something.
Let me give you an analogy, okay?
Okay, I like analogies.
Paul Boy Green as an example, okay?
All right. Sure.
Let's say Paul Boy Green Esden wants to get back in the radio field and wants to take a job. Okay.
Okay. All right.
He sees an opening, but there are whispers that in 6 months that sports radio station is going to turn country. Okay. Would Paul Boy Green take the job? Okay. That answer would be no. So
probably
Jim Leonard sees the Jets,
okay,
sees a dead man walking head coach.
Potentially.
What? Potentially. Okay, sure. Why in the world is he taking this job?
Pile of money.
It cannot be just okay. Pile of money. Then why is Dante Moore not a Jet?
Oh, well, that's not very nice.
Isn't that a pile of money? You told me that he was going to take a pile of money, right, Paul?
I thought $50 million. That is, well, he's an idiot. So that's like, or as my father would say, a moron.
Well,
but here's the other thing on Jim Leonard. So you tell me if this is true or not. Okay.
Sure.
If Jim Leonard came here to the Jets, let's say he does it, which, by the way, I just want this to be known. If Jim Leonard is the next defensive coordinator of the Jets, I am going to be, and let me say this as close to the microphone as possible, I'm going to be fucking insufferable because all the people in my life that told me, oh, it was a courtesy interview, I am going to lose my shit if Jim Leonard is the next DC of the Jets after all the bullshit talking. How many Packers fans were in my mention saying, yeah, he's coming here. Giant fans, he's coming here. And he didn't go to either of those places. Oh, I'm going to be so insufferable. It's not even funny. But again, let me ask you this question, right? So if Jim Leonard comes to the Jets and the Jets suck, is Jim Leonard going to get any of the blame for the Jets being terrible? No,
he'll get blamed by association. Yes.
No, he won't.
Yes, absolutely. Hold on.
AG, everyone says, is like the worst head coach of all time. And if they tank and suck again in 2026, AG's going to get the blame. And Jim Leonard's like, hey, it's the Jets. If Jim Leonard comes here and does anything of respect, that's going to dramatically raise his profile. Like, whoa, he took this dumpster fire that was bottom 3 in every major statistical. Like, because the laws of whatever say the Jets are not going to have 0 picks next year. So if he has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on defense, he's going to look like a messiah that can walk on water. So to me, it's a win-win if you're Jim. You get the first DC NFL job of your life. You get paid an insane amount of money for it. And then if the Jets turn around, they're good, then okay, you just keep being the DC of the Jets. And if they're bad, you're like, who's the Jets? And then he could go right back home to Denver, who would be open arms waiting for him. I think it's a win-win for Jim Leonard.
Okay, Paul. If you were Jim Leonard, if you had these two choices, A, you let AJ fail in 2026, which I believe could happen. I'm sorry.
Possible.
I believe will happen. Okay.
Oh.
And be a candidate for a head coaching job. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would ride with AG knowing this is a sinking ship. And unfortunately, he would be part of the Titanic that will be sinking. Which choice would you take, Paul? Again, use my
captain.
Use my radio analogy. Again, Paul, you would not take a radio
How
job.
much money? How much money?
Paul, you would not take a radio job.
How much money? That's what I want to know.
Paul, it's not always about the money. Paul, you would not take a radio job if you knew 6 months from now it'd turn country. You would not.
Yeah, I'm not a big country guy. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, so
no offense to anyone that
is the analogy I'm
going to say.
Jim Leonard is not taking this job. And again, when Wink is hired by the Jets, I want you to go in front of that mic. You are talented. I'll give you credit. And I want you to say, you know what? Being a Jet fan sucks. Even when Jim Leonard knew there was an opening, he told the Jets to fuck off.
So where do you think? So what happened to Jim Leonard this year?
I think he's going to stay in Denver for another year. I do.
And right now, Vance Joseph is getting zero buzz. Maybe that changes this week.
I think he will stay in Denver for another year. I do.
For what? Why? If he has a chance to be a DC, why wouldn't he leave?
Because it would be the right opportunity. It has to be the right DC opportunity.
I agree. He should just take any DC job in the universe. But
that's what the Jets are. The Jets are any DC job in the universe. Paul,
if Vance Joseph got a head coaching job, I would totally understand Jim going, I'm promoted. I'm the DC with Sean Payton. we're the number one seed in the AFC. That's great. That would be a hard job to compete against. No lie. If Vance Joseph got a job. Again, the current buzz doesn't indicate Vance Joseph is getting a job, but maybe something changes this week. I would understand that one. But besides that one, what other DC job is there that all of a sudden titillates Jim? The ones that would have, Packers and Giants are off the bingo card. They're not available.
Paul, again, you said the main reason Jim Leonard would take the Jet job would be money. Is that correct?
That'd be one of the reasons, sure.
Okay, that would be the main reason. So I would assume there would be a couple of extra $1 million in his pocket if he takes the Jet job. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I'm cool with that. Not my money.
It's a sinking ship. Why would he take the job? It is a.
He could save the ship. He could save the ship.
Okay, Paul, you are such a positive Jet fan. It is comical, Paul.
He's going to take this job.
Paul,
you know it, Alon.
When Wink takes the job, I want you to apologize to every logical Jet fan who realized that Jim Leonard is not taking this job. And if I was advising Jim Leonard, I would tell him not even come close to the Jet job.
I feel shout out to Rich. I feel a lot better about again, I want to make this clear. If it was my choice, I want Jim Leonard. But I heard Rich Cimini. He was on with our ginger friend and Mike Tannenbaum yesterday. And Jake set up a question saying, hey, a lot of Jet fans are saying Steve Wilks and Wink Martindale are basically the same guy. Like, your thoughts, Rich? And Rich went, what? People think that? What? Because they're older defensive coordinators? He's like, no, they're not close. Wink has had success. He pointed to all the success that Wink has had, and Wilks hasn't had bupkis. And then he explained all these reasons why he initially had concerns. I heard it on his initial podcast. Wink Martindale, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense with AG. And Rich said the more that he's dug into it, and we'll have Rich here on the show, hopefully after the DC hire, and he said that he changed his perspective and thinks that it could work and thinks it would be a really good hire. So again, I want Jim Leonard, but if we end up with Wink, I'm being more sold on it the more I'm hearing from the Rich Ciminis of the world. So hey, maybe that's not too shabby either.
One final comment.
Sure.
I'll leave the draft stuff to another day. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Tanner Engstrand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If Tanner Engstrand had any sort of confidence in himself, knowing that he is going to get demoted.
Yeah. Reassigned. Yeah.
Demoted. Okay. Yeah. he basically went from high school to third grade, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would go to the Jets.
All right.
And I would say, you know what? I have 2 years left on my contract. I don't know how many years he signed for.
Yeah. I don't know how that. Yeah, definitely multiple years, of course.
I would say, I'm glad to have been here for 1 year. I want my buyout and I want to leave. Because for him, staying here, he'd be a laughing stock in the entire coaching industry. He would.
Yeah.
So I think what he should be doing right now is he should be talking to his family. He should be talking to his agent, seeing if there's any other lateral moves, either in the league or in college. And I would say I would bid adieu to this godforsaken organization. I would.
I wouldn't blame him if he did. I wouldn't blame him if he did.
He looks like a fool if he stays. A fool.
Hey, by the way, there's an update here on the Buffalo Bills head coaching search. Let's get this. Philip Rivers has withdrawn from the Buffalo Bills head coaching search. And according to Ian Rappaport, that was very real and very close to potentially happening. But Philip just punted on it, according to The Athletic. He just told the Bills, no, thank you. And he walked away. So Philip, I think that would have been good for the Jets if Philip Rivers was the head coach of the Bills. That would have been nice.
Two coaching positions that are still available that I think should be filled immediately. And this will be my last point, I swear. Yeah. Brian Daboll to the Bills makes too much sense. It does.
Does it? He was terrible with the Jets.
I think his ability to work with this quarterback is the reason why I think he's going to get the job. But that's not the one I'm talking to the most.
Oh, okay.
Tom Brady watched Clint Kubiak coach up a storm yesterday. I hope Tom Brady, if he was smart, went up to Clint Kubiak after the game and say, here's a blank check. Your job is to coach Fernando Mendoza.
I'll see you in 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
I'll see you in 2 weeks. That is the perfect hire for the Raiders.
I'm curious now, speaking of Clint Kubiak, apparently Buffalo Bills fans want him bad. But there's a big discussion point in Bills social media land. Do they wait? Because, of course, now that they're alive and because the Bills are sort of being punished for their playoff win, sucks to suck if you're in that position, they can't even speak to Kubiak in any form or fashion until after the Super Bowl. And Bills people are debating, do you wait 2 weeks to maybe start the process with Kubiak while others have sort of an inside edge, right? The Raiders have already virtually interviewed him. They're waiting for the in-person one. So I'm curious how that fucks up the Buffalo Bills.
Blank check. That's exactly what.
Hey, it works for me.
It makes too much sense for him, and I'd be shocked if he's not going to get a head coaching job, whether it's in Buffalo or Vegas. What he's done with Sam Darnold this year has been unbelievable.
Okay, real quick, what should we be rooting for as Jet fans? Who do we want the Bills to hire at head coach?
Doesn't matter. The Jets are 5 years away from being mediocre, so it doesn't make a difference.
And here's one nugget for the Jets. Speaking of Bill, Sean McDermott's taking the year off, it sounds like, so he could be in the running. If everyone thinks everything's going to implode with the Jets, McDermott could be in the running.
Paul, it's been a pleasure. And I'll tell you one thing, Paul.
Oh, yes.
I'm excited for you that you actually believe Jim Leonard is taking this job. Because I know when Wink takes the job, I will see the sadness on your face. It will be masqueraded by some sort of excitement. I have no idea why. Because
can you do me a favor, Alon? I just need you to say 2 words for me, okay? That you believe.
But I choose to believe that it is. I believe. I believe. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
Jim Leonard will be the next DC of NYJ. Come on, Alon.
I don't believe, Paul, but I appreciate all the positivity. But it's inevitable that the ancient one, Wink Martindale, will be our DC. And by week 5, you will see the fight on the sidelines, similar to what happened in Houston ages ago with Buddy Ryan and the OC. I totally forgot who the OC was. That
yeah, I know who you're talking about. That punched. Yeah,
punched him in the face. That will be Wink and Aaron Glenn by week 5.
Oh Jesus,
Paul, it's been a pleasure. Have a good one, sir.
There he is. The pleasure is all mine. Wow. Okay, there you go. Here on the program. Here we go. Let's go to a super chat here from our number one Austrian Jet fan. I love when the community gives to the community. Our number one Austrian Jet fan with a $10 golden brick super chat here. Baby.
Wow.
$10 Euro super chat. That's 4 raffle tickets here in America. Raffles for the great Indy Jets. Love, Love. I love to see it. That is amazing. Some raffle tickets for Indy. I see Indy in our chat. Uncle Indy. Absolutely. One of the OGs, Mount Rushmore guy on this channel. There's no question about it. Shout out to Indy. So great. Let's add that in. You have 4 raffle tickets to our contest this month. Indy from our great number one Austrian Jets fan. Beautiful. Way to support each other, guys, in the audience. I appreciate that. Any super chats or memberships, feel free to keep those flowing. Salute to our number one Austrian Jet fan and Uncle Indy for that. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that little money sign on the bottom. All right, let's move on. Let's get some more phone calls here. Up next is Troy Sturgis. Troy. Greatest phone call of all time. All right, up next is Easy. Ready. Great stuff, Easy. All right, up next is Lou B.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
There is absolutely a chance that Jim takes this job.
Yes. I knew it. I knew it, Luby. I knew it. I knew that you were one of the group. You believe.
But I choose to believe that it is. I believe. I believe. I believe.
I believe.
You believed?
I do believe. Let me just say this. Okay. There is a good chance by the end of today that Wink is the defensive coordinator, but they are calling Jim this morning and they're going to see if he picks up the phone, right? Because today they could do the interview today and he could either say yes or no to a second interview.
Correct.
But if you get him on the phone, first of all, my first thing is yes, money. Maybe he's making $1 million a year down there. Who knows? Maybe
sure, probably, right. Yeah.
But when I looked, he's made about $9 million in the course of his NFL career. That's not a lot of money over the course of time in this person's world, right?
Yeah.
So going from, let's say, $1 million to $6 million a year is
life-changing money.
If he didn't want to take a defensive coordinating job, he would not be going around doing all these interviews with teams. He wouldn't be wasting his time before a championship game taking interviews. So he is thinking about taking a job. Now, I think that if the Green Bay wanted him and they were still out there available looking, we probably would have lesser of a chance today. And the Giants came out of the game, right? Then there was a few teams that started coming out. Cowboys are out of the game.
Yeah, Cowboys, who also talked to him. Yep.
We are the last girl at the club right now.
Yeah.
And we still got $6 million in our hands. So there is a chance. Now, the other part of it that, and Alan is right. Why would he take the job? Why would he take it? There's another reason here. It's called relationship, right? Sometimes, like in my business, I do events at venues. Sometimes I would never do that venue, but it's someone that calls me that my relationship means more to me than the actual gig. So yes, he could have a relationship with Glenn. He could have a relationship with Banjo or Muji and say, you know what, I'm going to go there. I trust these guys. And number 3, we don't know how green his blood is. He might really care about the Jets. We don't know. It might be something in his blood. That's why we're all on the on YouTube right now. He might care about the Jets, and he could take this job. Do I think he's going to? No. But could he? absolutely he could take this job, and he could make him coming here. He knows how great the Jet fans are if they love you. He knows he's going to do a good job, right? And he might be guaranteed a lot of money, and he might like it in the Northeast. You never know. So I do think there's a possibility he takes a job. The good news is we won't have to wait long. I think we'll know by the end of the day because it's Monday. If he doesn't take that,
right, that's true. Right,
he doesn't take that second interview today, it's over, and we go with Wink. And as much as we don't think Wink is the best guy, he's experienced. Let's just give him a chance and full steam ahead. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, you're the best. Lou B, salute, brother. There he is. Some positivity. Lou B believes that it's possible that it could happen. And I do agree with Lou B. We would know today, right? The Jets call up, bring. Hey, Jim Leonard / Jim Leonard's agent. You want a second interview? No. Oh. Boop. Well, it's over. Bring. Hey, Jim Leonard's agent. You want an interview? Yes. Okay, we'll see you there. Boop. And then that's it. We'll find out today, baby. We'll find out today. Do you believe? Out in the audience. That's the key. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for it looks like we have him back. Let's give it another whirl. Take two. Easy. Easy.
Oh, hey, man. What's up? I had a phone call. I had to get off.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. What's up, Easy?
You said you didn't want to be insufferable, but it's too late. You already are insufferably gleeful.
Yes.
Like it. Now I know why your father has secret dreams of putting pillows on your head.
Yep, a lot of people do. It's a long list, to be honest with you. Yep, I have that effect on people. Yeah.
That's okay, though. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I agree with Jake more than I agree with you on this particular subject of Aaron Glenn.
Touche.
But at least you're not going to have a fucking heart attack over it.
Yeah, I hope not. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, we may have to buy a case of Hennessy for old Jakey there so that he doesn't like flip out, and he'll probably die of liver disease if these Jets don't ever start winning soon. Yeah. And the fact that the fucking Patriots are going back to the Super Bowl one season in with this guy, and we didn't seal the deal and we had a chance, just drives me fucking nuts.
Sure. Yeah.
Why can't we have nice things?
I don't know. I hope it turns around one day before I'm dead, but I don't know right now. You know, God is right. What do they say? God puts his greatest soldiers through the greatest battles, or something. Whatever that line is. So, maybe we just are.
I think it's God doesn't give people anything he doesn't think they can handle.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
But then again, why are there people that commit suicide? So there's the other side of that sword.
Oh, here it is. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So you know what? He knows that we can take it, and it's eventually going to break through. That's it.
I can take that or leave that.
Sure.
Hey, how are the kids doing?
Great. Daughter turned 4 officially yesterday.
I saw that. Her birthday. Happy birthday, Zariah Luna.
Yeah, there you go. I'm wearing the Velociraptor t-shirt for her. So there you go. I finally got it today. So there you go. Very nice.
How's your son's health?
Oh, thank goodness. He's had a nice comeback. It was a little scary there. He had to spend a few nights in the hospital, which was nerve-wracking as all hell for any parent out there. But thankfully back home and back to full health and laughing and having a good time. So very lucky.
Yeah, because when all is said and done, that's the only thing that really matters. I know this podcast with the Jets is good therapy for us for having this shit-ass losing team and the shit-ass loser of an owner. I wish he would just concentrate on fucking doing his Band-Aids and fucking leave the football to somebody else.
I would have loved a director of football operations. A lot of us rooted for that last year. That hire never happened.
Shit, maybe just make Rex Ryan the director of football operations.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Shit about the team.
That's true.
But I mean, I don't know how qualified he is for that, but at least I know he actually gives a shit.
Well, I mean, how qualified was Matt Ryan? He just got the director of football operations in Atlanta. What has he done except being a player and a random broadcaster? So Rex Ryan has as much credentials as Matt Ryan does, I suppose.
I just hate the fact that Rexy is not affiliated with the Jets right now because the last time I know it was a while back, and I don't want to hear that bullshit. But the last time he was here was when we had our greatest success in a long time, even more than Parcells.
Accurate.
Although Parcells' success was niched by a fucking blown Achilles with
Vinny
Testaverde.
Yeah.
Everyone thought we were going to the bowl that year.
Yeah, I thought we were winning the bowl in '98 in Denver, but '99, everyone had them as the favorites. So, right, that was a great run there.
And the other thing is, leave it to us to get the second pick of the draft and have no quarterbacks worth of shit. I mean, what in the actual hell?
Think about New England, right? They had the 3rd overall pick in a 3-quarterback race, and Caleb, Jaden Daniels, and then Drake. How lucky!
And they got the right one. They picked the right one.
Unbelievable. 3rd pick.
Well, also McDaniels is a great offensive coordinator.
Sure, yeah. Him coming back was a key hire. Yeah.
Crappy head coach. But I mean, you cannot deny his ability as an OC. And I don't know why I just don't know why we didn't get rid of Aaron Glenn. It's almost like the defensive coordinator was fired, the offensive coordinator was demoted, and I agree with Alon. If I was him, I'd say, give me a settlement check and I'm the fuck out of here.
Sure.
Because that's bullshit. And then we kept notably the worst head coach as far as results that has probably almost ever head coached in a first year. I mean, I knew the team had some roughness around the edges, but we had all pros at all 3 levels of our defense, and he got rid of 2 of them because he couldn't figure out how to make any of it work. And he's a defensive guy. He's a cornerback with 41 career interceptions who coached a team that for the first time in NFL history, even with a 17-game season,
it's a lot of
didn't
games.
have 1 pick, not
that
one.
Seems hard to
You'd
believe.
think you'd fluke into 1.
Right. Again, I talked about this on another show last week, that the receiver runs the wrong route. It happens all the time. A quarterback looks over the receiver, goes can. The receiver goes, oh, that means go route. And then the quarterback, like, that means stop route. And you just throw a pick 6. Like, how does that not happen once? Or a ball gets deflected up in the air and then you just,
right.
Oh, wow,
or the quarterback is rushed and he's in a heavy rush and he throws it, or there's good tight coverage and he tries to force it in. There was no good tight coverage this year because everybody that we played against was wide open.
That's also true, right? Your player's just making a play, right? Quarterback throws a good pass and it just gets intercepted. Sure, there's a lot of ways.
How are you going to make a play? Because I was watching the game last night, and you could see that on an errant throw, the guy made a play because the coverage was tight enough where he was in the vicinity to make a play. Now, if you're 5 minutes away from the guy and there's an errant throw, it just falls incomplete, or the receiver can adjust and catch it himself.
Right.
It was just everything was totally inept on this team this year. And for him to come in on his press conferences in the beginning of the year and razz Saleh on the fact that McDonald was better because it's coaching. He can do it because it's coaching.
That was stupid.
What an ass he made of himself.
Yeah.
So why do you defend him? I want to know the actual, what is it that makes you truly want to defend him? Is it that you want continuity? Because if it's continuity, it just means we're going to lose again.
Yeah,
because that continuity goes both ways.
While what I'm about to say is going to immediately lead to jokes, and I know I'm setting myself up for it. I am a commitment guy. Now, you would say I'm not because I've been engaged to my fiance for 10 years, but I am...
you're far from commitment, dude. You are
I believe in my brain.
Effervescently, bubbly, far.
I believe in my brain that I'm a commitment guy. Yeah, go ahead. I believe in my head that I am a commitment guy, and I want to see things through, and I don't want to judge too early. In my life, something has to happen for a long time for me to make a change. I don't make rash changes in my life. So for AG, while there are a lot of signs that it clearly didn't go great and that it's hard to believe things will change. I'm just, again, not normally a guy to rip a Band-Aid off. Like, something's going south. I want to see it go south longer for me to go, okay, I need to really pull this before I make a decision. That's how I
Let me
live my
ask you
life.
something, though. As
Sure.
far south as it was this year,
Yeah.
and you have to admit it was fucking south.
Yeah.
How much further south does it have to go? I mean, we were pretty much rock bottom in every defensive category there is,
Correct.
and
Yes.
rock bottom in practically every offensive category there was. You
Yes.
can't just give him credit for making one good pick with Chris Banjo. That's not fair to the rest of the fan base.
Sure. No, that's not enough.
Think about
Right.
this. Out of all the decisions he made this year,
Yeah.
if you were to list every decision he made and put them in the good category and the bad category, where would they line up?
I think there'd be a lot more bad than good, in fairness.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is why Jake wants him gone, because I don't think we can go any further down. I think we're at rock bottom, but the difference
That means
is
it's
there's
only up
one
from
way.
here.
But I don't think this guy has the ability to make us go up. I think he's got the ability to make us stay exactly right the hell where we are.
Oh, Mr. Famous Fulton says he has a question for you, Easy. So,
Hey, good morning, AZ.
Hey, Fulton, how you doing, bro?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm a little freezing out here today.
yeah, it's cold.
Oh,
as
you want
hell.
to see some freezing? Here,
Okay.
this is my.
Okay, go full screen.
That's
Yeah.
that is all ice. That's not even snow. That's ice.
Jeez.
I have a 4-wheel drive. I have a brand new 4-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma, and I ain't going out in that shit.
Smart.
No.
Smart.
No.
All right, Mr. Famous Fulton, you said you have a question
What's
for
your
Easy.
question,
Go
bro?
ahead.
Yes. Well, do you know if Fernando Mendoza might be trading for the #1 pick for the NFL? What do you think, Easy?
I don't think that the Raiders have the intelligence to trade a guy like that. I think that they're either stupidly going to pick somebody else and let him just fall to us. I don't see anybody really trading for him because I think the Raiders know that they need him. The Raiders, they need him. And Tom Brady's not going to let a quarterback like that get out of his hands. No, unless he wants a guy next year and he wants to trade him for a bag and then just build up the team and do what the Jets should do this year is build up the team and get the QB next year. There are there's two rules of thought. Now, I want to put it on record, and Boy Green will vouch for me. I never wanted to trade Sam Darnold. I thought that was the biggest fucking mistake the Jets ever made. I was like, look, he's 3 years in. He's got talent. He's proven he's got talent. Get a team around this kid and let him blossom. And they never did. And now he's going to the fucking Super Bowl. And he's got well, how many wins does he have under his belt this season? 16 now? Right?
Yeah.
He played the divisional game. He didn't have to play the wild card round, but he won the divisional game and he won the NFC Championship game. So now he's got 16 wins this season. Jesus Christ. 16, and he had 14 wins last year.
Yeah. 14 wins in back-to-back.
With a different team.
Yeah,
and a different
that's what
coach and a
Strahan
different
said.
OC.
He's the first quarterback in NFL history to win 14 games with a team one season, and then win 14 games with a different team the next season. We did. That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. We did.
We had him. We fuck up all the time. We finally got the guy, and then we let him go.
That's true. It's depressing.
Yeah, it's just so. Anyway, to answer that's the answer to my question, Fulton. Is I don't know what they're gonna do, but I just don't trust the intelligence of the Raiders anymore. I trust the intelligence of Woody Johnson. Like I said, he needs to stick to cotton balls and fucking Band-Aids and just leave
There
the
you
rest
go.
of this shit
Exactly.
to the football
Hey, Mr.
people.
Famous Fulton, you said you have an announcement to share on top of your question to ED,
Yeah.
please.
I'm waiting to hear back from the Today Show and to see if they can let me tell my story, how I got involved with Special Olympics over 16 years.
Wow. Terrific. Yeah.
So I'm still waiting to hear back from them, but hopefully they'll email me pretty soon. So it's going to take a while. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, congratulations. That's amazing news.
Yep.
That's
well,
good
thank
work,
you. Appreciate
Fulton.
it.
That's good
Thank
work.
you.
Helping
Yeah,
helping disadvantaged kids.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you
think
go.
there's a blessing larger than that.
And there's another announcement. I am working on a new original song that I've been working on.
All right.
It's not ready, but it's the name of the title is the 250th anniversary for America.
Oh, wow. Okay, that should be excellent. So, Mr. Famous Fulton, good luck with that. And, of course, all right, Mr. Famous Fulton, go Hoosiers, baby.
Go Hoosiers.
There he is, Mr. Famous. Whoops, I'm messing up all the buttons here. Thank you to Easy and Mr. Famous Fulton. Wow, what a way to cap off this show. Congratulations to Mr. Famous Fulton. Hopefully we see him on the Today Show. That's terrific. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. We'll be back on tomorrow morning, back at our normal time slot at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, wait a second. We've got a super chat coming in from Jake. Hey, he chimes in before the end of the show. Look at this. The one and only Jake Asman.
Wow.
I miss Charles London, our quarterback guru / mastermind, Jake Asman says. Yes, Charles London is gone. So the Jets will have to identify a new member to lead our quarterback brigade. By the way, 9 raffle tickets free this month, Jake. Thank you for all your super chats this month. Yes, no Charles London anymore. Charles London was an abomination. A running backs coach, wolf dressed in sheep clothing as a quarterback's coach the last 5 years. I'm glad that's over. Let's hope that AG can hire the right guy. I'm excited. Frank Reich. I know a lot of people have been shitting on Frank Reich. Longtime former quarterback in the league, multi-time NFL head coach, Super Bowl champion, offensive coordinator with the Eagles. Like, Frank Reich has forgotten more football than a lot of people ever know. So I love, if that's an addition the Jets are considering, that's a guy who has a lot of battle scars. He's been around a lot of football, and I know there's been criticisms about his time with the Carolina Panthers and Indianapolis Colts. I'd like to say 2 things about those. Number one of the Colts, Frank Reich took the Colts head coaching job under the belief his quarterback was Andrew Luck for the next decade. Andrew Luck decided to retire surprisingly in the preseason, and Frank Reich got fucked. So, number one. Number 2, they say, quarterback development. Look at Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick, Carolina Panthers. The season was not going very well. I would say as a head coach, we saw with AG and others, that it can be overwhelming. You are running a lot of jobs, a lot of different responsibilities. But here, if the Jets were to hire Frank Reich, it wouldn't be as the head coach. It would be as passing game coordinator, quarterback coach, or quasi play caller, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not worried about him being overwhelmed because his job would be much simpler. Hey, man, we don't need you to run the whole operation. Just do this. And that inspires confidence. So I know that Frank Reich, again, that has led to some criticisms on social media. But to me, I think that would be a nice ad for the NYJ, to be honest with you, if they decide to go in that direction. So thank you. And look at this, baby. JoJo has hit the upgrade button, baby. Yes, freaking sir. Let's go. For those who may have been tuning in and out of my YouTube channel in the recent past, we've always had the Boy Green Coffee Club. That's our initial YouTube membership level. It's $2.99 a month. You get all kinds of perks, an emoji, loyalty badges, early access to videos. You get a lot of cool perks for being a Boy Green Coffee Club member. But recently, over the last month, we've introduced a new YouTube membership level. It's called the Boy Green Espresso Club, or the double espresso shot. And this is a membership level that gives you even more access. We have members-only content that only you guys get to see and no one else gets to see. Members-only shorts. I've been telling stories, family stories, and showing stuff in the house. And then this month, later this month, so JoJo, you'll be a part of this as well. We'll be doing a live stream later this week. It'll either be Friday night or Saturday night. I think it's going to be Friday night, but we'll see. It'll be Friday or Saturday night, and it'll be a live stream where only Boy Green Espresso Club members are allowed. Our own private coffee club where we can talk about anything you want. We can jump on, conversate, questions, comments, family, life, all of those different things, and that's going to be lovely. So, JoJo, you are in that running. Plus, if you upgrade to the Boy Green Espresso Club, you get 5 automatic raffle tickets to our contest. So raffle tickets are normally $3 a piece, but you get bonus raffle tickets for jumping up to the next level. So JoJo, it's great to have you in here. So a bonus 5 raffle tickets for our contest this month. Thank you so much for jumping up. And thank you to everyone that's decided to jump up to that new level. So again, there is a Boy Green Espresso Club upgrade button. I see that JoJo Hurst says that she jumped up to a level, so she was able to hit the upgrade button. Some people have struggled to do that, so you can either cancel your Boy Green Coffee Club membership and then just re-enter as Boy Green Espresso Club. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but JoJo, thanks for joining the fam. I love the response you guys have given me on the Boy Green Espresso Club. It means the world, so thank you, JoJo, for joining in with the group. It's great to have you a part of the Boy Green Espresso Club. Beautiful. Let's go, JoJo. Mojo Jojo action. Beautiful. There we go. All right. Well, folks, an exciting end to the show. Thank you again to JoJo and some Jake Asman Super Chat action. I want to thank everyone who gifted today. MFC gifting a membership. Super Chat from Philly Doodles. Super Chat from NC Green. Austrian Jet Fan with a Super Chat. Jake Asman with a Super Chat. And that was Austrians was for Uncle Indy. And then JoJo jumping to the Boy Green Espresso Club. An exciting run. And as Jared B puts up on the screen, another perk of the Boy Green Coffee or Espresso Club is joining our private Discord where we talk Jets, life, and everything else. And you guys get tips and tricks on upcoming live events for Boy Green, which includes another tailgate special. So guys, make sure if you are a Boy Green Coffee Club member or a Espresso Club member, that's your invite link. You have to be a Boy Green Coffee Club member or Espresso Club member through your YouTube to have access. If you're just a free subscriber, which is totally cool, I appreciate all the people that watch the show, you won't have access to this. It's only for paid members. So appreciate it. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'll actually be back live in 2 hours because we have our MC Show digital channel. We'll be popping the bubbly because we surpassed over 500 subscribers. We'll be giving away a $400 golf club today, which is going to be awesome. So you guys can continue to subscribe to that channel to be in the running for that. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. A lot of fun. Like the video on the way out, folks. And we got more Jets content coming for you. That is for dang sure. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next time. Take care.